But now it's your job, it's your responsibility to actually manage your mind. And the way the mind works is a lot like a muscle. You have to train it. It doesn't happen once or twice. You have to train it to be a certain way. If you pay close attention, you'll see that the people in your life have given you certain programs by which you operate, not because they meant harm to you, just because they were given the same program and they've just carried it on, and you've picked it up without consciously thinking about the effects of whether or not it's serving you or not. And I can guarantee you, after working with hundreds of people over the past 10 years, it is not serving you. And you can do your self-observation as well around, and you will see that it's fairly quite destructive. Hello, amazing investors, entrepreneurs, coaches. You must have heard the term, I'm so hard on myself. In fact, people use it as a badge of honor, or as a way to say that, you know what, it's one of those things when people compare each other's miseries with each other. When one person says, I've had a really bad day. Oh, well, you have had a bad day. Let me tell you what I went through. It's kind of like that when people say, I'm hard on myself. And next time you say that to yourself, notice the kind of a pride you have in the background. Here's the problem with it. It doesn't work. It can give you a sense of satisfaction that you're hard on yourself. And the reason why people say that, because they think that it's because they have high standards. So they usually connect it to that. That's not why you're hard on yourself. The reason why you're hard on yourself is because you've watched other people be hard on themselves. And what does that mean? Being hard on yourself, it just means that you're self-critical. And or more accurately, your mind is very critical. And why does that happen? Well, we all learn behaviors and habits, especially as mammals and human beings, because we watch other people around us. We watch our parents, we've watched our teachers, we've watched our all kinds of people who inspire us, like the leaders in our organization or in our community, say that, well, you know what, oh, I'm so stupid, or I didn't do this well, and I deserve, you deserve better, and this and that and the other, or whatever they say. Like we pick up on the pattern of statements that they say, and we feel the emotions. So we're like, well, something must be working for them. So we copy the surface, just like most people do. And we don't realize that the real reason why these amazing people move forward, whether it be your parents, teachers, whoever you've seen to be successful, is not because they were hard on themselves. That was actually holding them back. The real reason why they are doing well is because they do have high standards, but you've somehow concluded that that's connected to that. High standards are different. High standards mean that you have an ideal you're reaching to, and you're consistently setting targets to go towards that. It doesn't require being self-critical. It just requires data, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But before I go there, I'll share a very quick practice. Here's what your mind needs. Our mind generally is fairly negative, and most for most people, and negative not in the sense that most people think. Our brain has evolved to protect us. What does that mean? That means that it's constantly looking for threats. In the past, few thousand years ago, a few hundred years ago, those threats were threats like like animals and other tribes of humans. So it helped us stay alive. And what it didn't just help us individually stay alive. If we saw a threat, we came running back, it would show on our faces, and our tribe members would have to quickly react to that and protect us. That's the general story of human beings. And now we're in a world, especially if you're in the Western world, you're fairly safe. You don't sit there and worry about wild animals unless you're in the forest somewhere or in the countryside. You generally don't worry about people attacking you, because the system that we have in here is fairly safe, unless you put yourself in very difficult situations. So in most cases, you're generally safe there. Like physically, you don't have any threats. So what does that mind do? It manufactures threats. It creates all kinds of vague threats, and they usually relate to abstract things like your bills, mortgage, business challenges, financial crisis, economy. And guess what the bigger system does? So anybody who is in marketing, in the world of news, they will leverage your fears, because they know how your brain functions. How do they know that? Well, they hire psychologists and people in the world of mind to tell them how to frame their keywords, how to talk about the incident in the news, so you get emotionally affected, not just any random way, but specifically that connects to your fear centers. So that's why our brain is so distracted, because everybody's trying to grab your attention with fear. And it works. Even if you're aware that they're doing that, it still works. And this is the crazy part. And sometimes I test this out. I'll go watch the news, especially if you watch the news for like 10 minutes, just to see. And I'll go through it, and I can see my emotions building up. And even though I'm aware of what they're doing, I still have to regulate it. And it's crazy to watch. And most people have no idea what the hell they're going through every day. Their energy is being zapped. It's drained by all kinds of the organizations and media that need their attention for their purposes, not for you to be well. So let's circle back to being hard on yourself. Because, and what I wanted to explain here is that your mind is wired to be negative in the sense that it wants to protect you. It's not wired to necessarily get you to notice the positive, get you to be happy, as most people talk about, get you to be feel connected, or get you to be present, get you to be growing. It's designed to protect you, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But now it's your job, it's your responsibility to actually manage your mind. And the way the mind works is a lot like a muscle. You have to train it. It doesn't happen once or twice. You have to train it to be a certain way. And most people are hard on themselves by copying other people, just like I mentioned in the beginning. And you can track it back. If you pay close attention, you'll see that the people in your life have given you certain programs by which you operate, not because they meant harm to you, just because they were given the same program and they were just carried it on, and you've picked it up without consciously thinking about the effects of whether or not it's serving you or not. And I can guarantee you, after working with hundreds of people over the past 10 years, it is not serving you. And you can do your self-observation as well around, and you will see that it's fairly quite destructive. So what works? What works better than being hard on yourself? Keep your standards, keep going towards your ideal, your dreams, your goals. Don't stop that, because that's amazing. That will keep you going. In fact, I'll push you one more notch. Figure out what your purpose is. Figure out what the bigger vision is, bigger goals are for you. Figure out goals and vision and purpose that pulls you, that challenges you, that pushes you in ways that you haven't been able to figure out. And that will increase your level of mental chatter, because your mind gets scared, but it will push you to build emotional resilience. Thank you for joining us here for this video. We've noticed that there are a certain percentage or a high percentage of our audience haven't subscribed to our channel. If you can please click on the button to subscribe to the channel, it will help us create more content. It will help us, which will help us reach more amazing people like you, to support them, to serve them. So please click on the subscribe button. Resilience, and that's what we're talking about. That term is not recognized, but all it is that most people say, well, I'm emotionally resilient, but you put them in front of threat or in challenging business situations or challenging life circumstances, you will see what they're made of. Most of the time, people are so scared they don't take risks. So if they do take risks, it looks like they're taking risks. They're very, very safe things that they're doing. And as soon as they see a little bit more threat, they shrink back, not because the threat was so big, but because they don't know how to manage their mind. And that's what we're talking about. So what works better than being hard on yourself? Well, the one thing you might have heard over and over is celebration works better. And what is celebration? If you actually ever watch children, they're very good at this. We naturally are very good at this. So what happens is, if they do something, or they draw something, or they paint something, or they play music, or they play or create something, they'll go to their parents. One of the first things first of all, they will look at you and say, oh, that's awesome, that's really cool. They'll go to their parents and show them, look what I did. What they're doing is they're celebrating with you, and they want you to celebrate with them. And now if you're aware as a parent, you will actually celebrate with them. You won't worry about how bad it is or how good it is. They put an effort into it. You celebrate the effort. Incidentally, we know that when you celebrate the effort, they tend to work on the effort rather than saying that you're intelligent or something else, but that's a side thing. So that's very natural to us until we realize that adults who we rely on survival and so many things train us to think otherwise. We don't celebrate. So how can you do that in your day-to-day life? Well, how you can do that is simple things. It doesn't have to be big things, especially if you're not an entrepreneur or building a business or wanting to build a business. A lot of the projects you're going to work on, the payoff will be 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years out. So if you're waiting for that big achievement, that deal or whatever, you're going to be waiting for a while, and you will get drained, and you will feel like it's far out, and you will be demotivated and all kinds of things. But what if you celebrated the efforts along the way? Your effort to reach out to a bunch of people, your effort to connect with people, your effort to actually do the work to move forward, your effort to underwrite the deals, your effort to create a better process to reach out to people and follow up with them, your effort to actually do the sales calls or investor calls, whatever you're doing, your effort to put yourself out there. Those little things will add up, and every time you celebrate, you're training your mind to realize that you're going in a positive direction, you're growing. That's a very simple practice. Celebrate consciously, consistently with yourself, acknowledge it, notice it, go out there and go for a walk and for 10 minutes and realize that you've done some good work today. Every time you get accomplished something, celebrate. Train your mind to recognize that you're growing. Celebrate with other people. Let other people who are positive and growth oriented, let them know what you're doing. Let them celebrate with you. And celebrate with everybody around you. Some of the funny things that I do is sometimes I would reach out to a bunch of people. I would go to one of my kids, be like, "Hey, I reached out to this many people," and they will just jump up and down. They won't even know why, but they're so good at celebration that they will do it. So make celebration a part of your lifestyle. It will help you a lot. It will actually train your mind to recognize that you're growing. So your motivation is high. You will do more of the things that are working. That's one thing. And circling back to high standards, when you have high standards, big goals, big projects, long-term goals, 10 years out, 5 years out, you have a vision, you have a purpose, keep those, and that will pull you. And this is why I want to connect it back to what I said before around being harder on yourself. This is why it doesn't actually work. Another reason, because if you have high standards and goals, what you need is data. What does that mean? That means your mind. Another reason why mind is not a really good tool in this area, if it's mismanaged. So it means that if you don't have data, your mind resorts to emotions and thoughts that are recurring, that are not helpful. So if you notice, when you're fearful, your mind will keep repeating the same thoughts in a loop, and you will feel the fear. You'll feel it in you'll be tense, your muscles will be tense, you will feel tense in your shoulder a lot of times, and it's repeating the thoughts, and it's draining the hell out of your energy because it doesn't know what data to look at. You haven't actually trained it to look at the right data. So for example, if you have a sales process and you say that, my goal is to sell $50,000 in this thing. Now, that's not enough data for your mind to celebrate, or for you to train it to celebrate, or for it to know that you're growing. You need more data. So it means that what are the efforts that are leading up to that $50,000? How many offers have you made? If you have $50,000, for example, the rule of thumb might be you offering $200,000 in making $200,000 in offers for you to convert $50,000. I mean, I'm throwing random numbers. And so you're tracking those numbers. How many offers have you made? How many people have you reached out to? How much of your time is dedicated to that thing? If you're tracking all that, at the end of the week and the end of the day, you're looking at that. You're asking yourself, well, what are the efforts here? Like, am I reaching out to people? And if you're not, you don't beat yourself up over that. Be like, okay, how can I improve this? Now you're looking at data, and you're training your mind to ask itself, how can I improve this? When you do this often and you build a system around this, you do this day after day, week after day, you will not only notice progress, but you're training your mind to understand that you're progressing towards your goals, no matter how far out it is, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And it starts to cooperate with you. You feel motivated, you feel excited, even though there will be fears. You put the fear in its perspective. The fear doesn't overwhelm you because the goal and the projects and purpose and vision is much bigger than the fear. Technically, it's bigger than the fear in your mind. So that requires a lot of training. That requires to build a calendar system that you can look at, track. That requires a CRM for you to look at. That requires data around the offers and proposals that you've made. That requires a long-term plan. Most people don't have any of that stuff. And if you don't know how to make that, don't even know how to get started because you're already getting overwhelmed hearing me, then definitely reach out to me, because I've helped a lot of people around this, whether you send me a message one-on-one, or type support or help below, and I'd be happy to reach out to you to see if I can help you further. I can share resources with you, or we can get on a one-on-one call to help you see how you can train your mind better. And I guarantee you, most of the challenges that you have is because of your mind. How do I know this? Because human beings have spent the past thousands of years trying to figure out how their mind works so they can function better. This is where you see martial artists, monks, entrepreneurs, leaders of all kinds. Most of their work has been in training their mind to be better. A lot of it has been experiential, because they've put themselves out there and they've built resilience. Now we're learning more and more about the mind, so we can actually do some of the background work, and then we'll push you to put yourself out there and build that resilience so you can go towards the goals that matter to you. So as a summary, stop being hard on yourself. It does not work. Start celebrating the wins. Start looking at data, start building out data for your goals, projects, purposes, all the stuff, so your mind can look at it and it can celebrate better with you. Train your mind to become a celebrating mind rather than a critical mind. Most people's minds are critical, and it's not working, not helping. I hope this was helpful for you. Please share your insights and thoughts with me below. And I'd love to hear from you, and I want everybody to learn from each other here too. So let's learn together. Until my next video, hope you have an incredible day. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you click on this video or this video. It will serve you to move your growth journey forward. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.